I guess I came out here on this video to say, do not be afraid to start over. Do not be afraid to rebrand. Do not be afraid to regroup. Do not be afraid, be it's a business idea that has failed and you want to start over and start another one. Hi boss babes, welcome and welcome back to my channel. My name is simonesanangurai. I'm on Instagram and I'm on TikTok as at bosssimone1. If it is your first time tuning in, you are more than welcome to be part of the family. And if you're a returning subscriber, you already know that I love you so much and I appreciate you so much. So guys, let's get into today's video. In today's video, I'm just going to be talking about do not be afraid to start over. I thought I should just come up with this a little bit of a motivation since we are towards the end of the year and towards the beginning of a new year. I was just walking down the streets coming from the shops. I went to buy bread and I just thought about it, like, do not be afraid to start over. And a series of things that has happened in my life that has led up to this point, I just realized about how I'm not afraid to start over. And I'm just like, I need to come out here and share this and make this part of my Vlogmas series. Is I am doing Vlogmas, as y'all already know that I'm doing Vlogmas. I know that I have posted previously in the community tab, and I've mentioned of how tired I feel and as much as how I wanted to continue with the Vlogmas, but I was considering to take a break. But at the back of my head also, I don't want to take a break from Vlogmas. I want to continue with Vlogmas. And thank you so much. Just to get out of off topic a little bit, thank you so much guys for the votes. A lot of you voted I need to rest and then resume later once I have had the baby. But personally, I had decided that I wanted to do Vlogmas until the end, and then after finishing with the Vlogmas, I would take a rest, maybe a month rest, and that will give me time to bond with my newborn. That will give me time to kind of sort of like rebrand. I'm not rebranding as such, but bring back more structure to this channel, because I really want to redirect it. By the time I reach next year, I want it to be more structured and have proper direction. I want you guys to know when you come here, what are you coming for. So I'm sorry about the sidetrack. Let's get back into the video. So considering the fact that I've been sharing about do not be afraid to start over, like I already mentioned, we are nearing the end of the year, nearing the beginning of the new year. When I moved back to South Africa, a lot of people, a lot of my supporters, or should I say followers on TikTok, they kept on asking me, why did you move from Dubai back from Dubai to South Africa? People were like, we are actually out here trying to run away from South Africa. We are actually out here trying to go and leave this country. And here you are coming back. And people do not necessarily understand the dynamics of someone leaving a country that is believed to be a better country going back. People always feel like you are taking one step forward and two steps backward. But in my case, I personally do not feel like my move back home was two steps backwards. I feel like it has helped me so much. Like, I'm not one to come out here and talk about depression and mental health and all that, but yes, as people, you will go through a roller coaster of emotions, and there is no one that has no matter how much you have it, people might look at you and feel like you have it all figured out, your life is perfect and everything is all figured out. Everyone, even someone who might come out on social media and seem as if their life is perfect, have moments of just breaking down, have moments of just feeling like, I don't know, like feeling some type of way. So for me, I feel like moving back home has really helped me so much. Not to talk about it has helped me so much it has helped me a lot in so many areas. One which I am more grateful about is my mental health. When I say my mental health, like, I literally mean my mental health. Being in Dubai or any other foreign country is not easy at all. I am originally from Zimbabwe, currently staying in South Africa, but I grew up in South Africa. I've stayed in South Africa since I was 13 years old until when I turned I think 23. That's when I moved to Dubai, and then I came back here. So I consider South Africa my home, even though I get so much backlash for calling it home, but it basically it is what it is. South Africa and Zimbabwe are neighbors, you know. So if I'm in South Africa, it's more or less like I'm basically in my home country, which is Zimbabwe, because I can literally travel by bus and just pass through the border and I'm already in Zimbabwe. Unlike when you are in Dubai, whereby you have to travel by plane. I never felt like I was home when I was in Dubai. But when I am in South Africa, I feel like I'm home, because home is where your family is. My mom is in South Africa, my daughter is in South Africa. So yes, I have a part of my family that is in South Africa and a part of my family that is in Zimbabwe, but those who raised me are in South Africa. So yeah, that is what it is. So with when I say my mental health, I mean my mental health, because I came back home and I felt at home again, and I was not in the right headspace. Like, a lot of things were not going right in my life, and even currently, I do not have it all figured out. My life is not as perfect, but being home has made me feel so much at ease, feel so much at peace. As compared to had I had been in Dubai right now, I don't think I'll be feeling the way that I'm feeling right now. Because when I was in Dubai and planning to come back home, I was feeling some type of way, which will be a topic of another day. Basically, today we are talking about do not be afraid to start over. So even if you are in a state, in a country, or in a place whereby you feel like things are not going the way that you want them to go, there is nothing wrong with you packing your bags and saying, you know what, I'm moving back to my state and I'm going to start over. Because basically when you move from one country to another, it's like starting over from zero. Like, same way when I moved from South Africa and I went to Dubai, I started over from zero. I've once shared a story, I think, about a friend of mine, someone that I met in Dubai, and he told me about how he used to stay in UK. I mean, by far, UK is considered a far much more stable and better country than Dubai. People would leave Dubai to go to UK and say they have upgraded. But he told me that he was in UK, United Kingdom, and he said things were not going well for him when he was in UK, and then he decided to try out Dubai, and things are perfect for him in Dubai. So what might be considered by people as moving backwards, when you know that it is not moving backwards, yes, you might be going there to start over, but I'm here to tell you that do not be afraid to start over, because the fear always comes in people saying, I'm afraid to start over. I learned very early. I spent 3 years of my life in Dubai. And for me personally, I had left my daughter behind. Personally, I had always said, where my daughter is, that's where I am. And my move to Dubai came abruptly. And when it came at that point, it was something that I needed. But I had, at the back of my head, I always said, wherever I am, my daughter needs to be there. And at this point, thus far where I was not able to bring my daughter over to Dubai. So what was the next step for me? And apart from me not being able to bring her over to come and stay with me, things were not going well for me the way I wanted them to go for me financially. I mean, yes, I was working. Yes, I was posting on social media as if all is well, I'm happy and all that. Not that I was not happy, but I do not want a short-lived kind of happiness whereby I'm happy for 2 minutes and the next minute I'm sad. I want the kind of happiness whereby I wake up every day and I feel so fulfilled. I want the kind of happiness whereby I feel like I wake up every day and I feel like, you know what, I don't have much, but I actually love my life. Like, I'm free, I'm happy, you know, I'm comfortable, I'm in a happy place. That was the kind of happiness that I wanted, and that was not the kind of happiness that I was getting in Dubai. And I had conditions of me moving. So I had put up conditions for myself that if I get a well-paying job, I might consider staying in, because I was in a position where I do not like the life that I was living, as in like my living conditions, because I was not earning a lot. And I would actually love to come out here one day and talk about my working experience in Dubai and how much I've earned by the time I was in Dubai, and advise people on what they need to look out on if they ever consider going to work in Dubai, because there are so many things that I learned while I was in Dubai, and I was like, I wish I knew this earlier. I wouldn't have done this. Like me taking underpaying jobs and knowing the standard of living in Dubai is way too high. Like I would take those jobs. Like my first initial job that I took, I converted the money, and it was a lot of money when I converted to South African rands. But because I was not experienced, I had just moved to Dubai, I thought, oh, this is a lot of money. But as I went on to live in Dubai, I realized that I was earning peanuts, because living in Dubai is quite expensive. Like it is literally expensive, more than living in South Africa. So there's some things that I would actually like to come and share one day, like when I have the time to actually share and advise people about what they need to look out on when they consider going to work in Dubai. So yeah, it's things like that. I had given myself condition that if I was actually searching for a job, like tirelessly, and I was like, if I don't get a well-paying job, then my next move is moving back home, because mind you, when I was staying here, I was doing way much more better. I think I came out here the other time and I shared that I was at a point whereby I was going to buy a car, and then I decided that the money that I was going to buy a car with, that was the money that I used as my expenses to go to Dubai, because I catered for all my expenses, the flight, the rent, and everything. I catered for them, like personally, on my own, from my own pocket. So I was here doing very well. Like I was doing business and I was doing really well. I was at a point whereby about to buy a car for myself, my first car. And then I moved to Dubai, and mind you, I've been working in Dubai, and I was not able to buy a car. Like I was not able to save up to buy a car. And what hit me the most was the pandemic. In 2020, I had savings that I had, but I stayed for a long time without working. So imagine staying in Dubai and you're not working and you still have to pay bills. And I had told myself that I'm never gonna ask people back home to send me money. So I had to pull out from all my savings. So me moving from that point of my comeback from the 2020 pandemic, where I was not working for a long time and I was in Dubai just paying bills, my comeback was kind of slow. And I did switch jobs, but still I was still earning peanuts. So that is what pushed me more. Like I always told myself, like I said, I stayed there for 3 years, and I would hear people's experiences saying, you know what, I've stayed in Dubai for 5 years. Don't be like me. Don't waste time. If Dubai is not working for you, move immediately, because the more you stay, the more you get comfortable. And mind you, like I said, the money that I was getting was enough for my lifestyle that I was living in Dubai. Like I could have much as well said, okay, I'm getting myself an apartment, I'm getting myself I'm just gonna live comfortably in the moment. But that is not what I wanted for myself. I don't want to live comfortable in the moment. I don't want to live from hand to mouth. Like I want to work and be able to save something and be able to build something, you know. And I always used to say, what is the point of me being away from home, being away from my loved ones, when I can't save anything to build something back home? You know, so I was making the kind of money whereby I can stay in Dubai, I can dress nicely, I can maybe take a lot of money maybe and put it into staying in a nice place, you know. But at the end of the day, what am I building back home? Is it worth it? Like me being far away from them, is it worth it? If I stay there for 5 years, 10 years, what am I going to point and show for me being away from them? If my daughter asks me one day, Mom, you left me for all these years, why did you do it? What am I going to point to her and say, oh, this is what I did for you while I was away? So for me, it was not worth it. So that is why I decided, you know what, I'm going back home and I'm going to start over. So with this, I know I didn't get too deep into the details of me moving and all that, but when I moved back, a lot of people had assumptions, especially when people found out that I'm pregnant, and they're like, oh, that is the reason why you moved back. No, that is not the reason why I moved back home. I had plans of moving. Way before I even found out that I was pregnant, I was already planning that I'm moving back home. And then by the time when I decided that, like when I was finalizing anything, then boom, I found out that I was pregnant. And that is why I ended up quitting. Anyway, it was part of my plans that I was going to quit my job. I ended up quitting my job when I was pregnant, and I ended up moving back home. So no, me being pregnant was not the reason why I was moving back home. If things were going well for me, I would definitely had resorted to continue staying in Dubai, continue working there, giving birth there, and probably raising my child there. But at that point, things were not good. And yes, they were manageable, but my mental health, I was not in the right headspace for me to, like, I was literally done. Like, I was like, you know what, I'm so done with Dubai. But things have changed right now. I've changed my mind. I could potentially move back to Dubai once I get the things that I want to get sorted. And now I have so much experience. I know how things work there, and I know the structure that I would want to move in. And my next move would definitely be with my kids, of course, because that is what I want. I want to be a present mother in a present parent in their lives. I don't want to be an absent parent. So whatever that I plan right now would have to include them as well. So that means I would have to level up even with my finances, because how can I be able to raise my kids in Dubai if my finances are not up to that level, you know? So yeah, it is just me actually coming back and starting over and going back to the drawing board, you know, and saying, you know what, I'm starting over. I'm going to write down everything that I want to achieve now. I'm going to take these steps. Hopefully these steps are going to take me to where I want to be. I have so many things that I have planned for the coming year that I want to be doing in my life that are going to potentially help me to level up financially. And yeah, and like I said, going back to the video, I hope this whole video makes sense to you. Me saying do not be afraid to start over, even if you had moved to another country, moved to another state, and you realize that this is not working for you. Don't be afraid of what people say. People will say, I came back from a certain state and came back, and I came back with nothing. I just to reference the book of Naomi, which was Ruth's mother-in-law in the Bible. Even when I was in Dubai, whenever I was praying over moving back home, whenever I was planning to move back home, I would always reference that story in my head, that God, I remember when Naomi, when they went to that certain country, Naomi had a husband, she had her 2 sons, and when she got there, she got her sons got wives, and at some point the sons all passed away, the husband passed away. She told Ruth, which was one of her daughter-in-law, she told all her daughter-in-laws, and she's like, I don't have any sons to give you guys, go back to your home countries. And at that point Ruth said, I'm not going to leave you. Wherever you go, I go with you. And she didn't know at that time that Ruth was her treasure. And when she decided that she's gonna move back to her country, to her home country, at the back of her head, she was like, I'm going back with nothing. I came here with sons and a husband, but I'm going back with nothing. What a shame my life is. But at that point, she didn't know what was waiting for her in her home country. She went back to her home country, not knowing that God has already, like the Bible says, He sets a table for us in front of our enemies. You know, so she didn't know that God has already set up a table a table for her. People are talking and saying things. Oh, you went and you left. Probably at that point, people were talking, you went and you left, you had a husband, you had sons, look at you now, you are just a widow and you don't have sons, you know. So she moved back with her daughter-in-law, Ruth, and Ruth ended up getting married to Boaz, who was rich and was also Naomi's relative. And at that point, they were a tag team, because Ruth had assured Naomi that wherever you go, I'm going to go. Wherever you die, I would die. So they're a tag team. They were together. So she got also her breakthrough through Ruth. As much as she was thinking, I'm going back to nothing, I'm going to start over from zero, from nothing. I have nothing. But she didn't know what God had already prepared for her. So sometimes you need to listen to God. When God says, sometimes things not working out for you in a certain region, in a certain place, it's simply God telling you that this place is not for you. I always say this, for people who move from country to country trying to look for the greener pastures, I always say the same thing. I always say, even Dubai, even UK, even United States of America, Canada, all those countries, China, these days people are going to what's this country, I'm forgetting it, but people go to that country to teach as well. And I always say, sometimes your breakthrough is not in that land. I always say, some people go to Dubai to look for a job and they never find a job. They end up going back to their home countries. Other people go to Dubai and then they get the biggest breakthrough ever. Others, they go there, they get a job easily. And I always say this, sometimes it is not your land. Sometimes your breakthrough is not there. And like I said, I already shared the story of a friend of mine who said he was in UK and things didn't work out for him. He went to Dubai, things worked out for him. There are people who would go to UK and things will work out for them. I know people who are in Dubai right now who are living lavish lifestyles, like people who things worked out so well for them, like they have the best lifestyles ever. And I wouldn't mind living in Dubai if I had a lot of money, of course, because I'm not gonna lie to you, it's expensive to live in Dubai. And for your mental health, you really need that money, because Dubai will show you flames, So I always tell people that your land, like where my breakthrough is, might not be where your breakthrough is. So sometimes you can't just go around following people around and say, oh, this is working out for this certain person, let me go. You need to pray and inquire. You need to pray and inquire from God. God, should I take this step? I do not regret going to Dubai at all. Like, I learned a lot of things. I feel like traveling and staying in another country always brings so much awareness to you. There's a lot of things that I know right now that if I hadn't gone to Dubai, I don't think I would have known those things. So I do not take it for granted at all, and I definitely appreciate the opportunity that I had. And me coming back home and saying, you know what, I'm going back to the drawing board. I feel like I'm so privileged to have learned something, bring back those tools with me, and saying, you know what, I'll go back to the drawing board and check my life out and see where I went wrong, and try to start over. What I didn't do in my 20s, right now I'm 28 and I'm approaching my 30s. What I didn't do well in my 20s, at least by the time I reach my 30s, may I go back and start over and see that I can see an improvement by the time I reach my 30s. So I guess I came out here on this video to say, do not be afraid to start over. Do not be afraid to rebrand. Do not be afraid to regroup. Do not be afraid, be it's a business idea that has failed and you want to start over and start another one. Be it a failed relationship and you feel like, you know what, I need to pack my bags. It's not happening for me. Don't stay and say, I'm afraid of starting over. Don't stay in a toxic situation just because you're afraid of starting over. No, move, sis. And in all types of ways. Like I'm speaking right now. I don't know what you might be going through right now. I don't know who this message is for, but I'm just speaking in all terms. Just look at your life, check your life, and say, you know what, I have learned what helps me mostly in my life is I don't live by the principle of what will people say. I know a lot of people spoke and say, oh, she came back from Dubai, what does she has? I know people would talk. I know a lot of people have spoken so many bad things about my pregnancy, but that is why I chose to come out here and embrace my pregnancy. Like, I do not want to give people a lot of things to talk about or to gossip about. I came out here and I embraced it, I didn't get pregnant the way that I had expected it, the way that I had planned in my life. But now that we are here, what's next, So I always try by all means in my life to not live by the principle of what will people say, because this is my own life. I have only one life to live, and one thing about people is you're never gonna please people. Whether you do good or you do bad, people will always talk. So you are being afraid to start over because you're scared of what will people say. You are only simply bringing harm to yourself. It's not, you're not bringing any, you're not making any difference in someone else's life. So I think what kills us mostly as people, why we are afraid of starting over, is because we are always constantly thinking about what will people say. For me, I do not mind whether people talk a lot of bad things, shit about me behind my back, in front of my face, wherever. I'm always like, hey, I'm gonna keep it moving, and I know why I am doing what I'm doing. You know, I feel like my life is in a right track right now, and I, with no doubt, I am not where I want to be in life at this time, like age and all that. I feel like I feel like basically I'm starting all over again, but I am so much at peace. Like I've never been this much at peace. Like, and I always ask myself, how am I so much at peace when right now is the time where I'm not even working? The time when I was working and away from my family, I was like not that much at peace, but I was having a stable income every month, but I was not at peace. Right now, I do have an income, like I do have an income, but at this point, I feel like because I'm starting over from zero again, my income has got so many responsibilities, and there's just a lot, like I said the other day, that there's a lot that is happening in my life, and I wouldn't want to come out here and talk about it as yet, but one day I want to come out here and testify about it. So I hope you found motivation in this video, that you should not be afraid to start over, even if it means going back to school and changing your career path. I already spoke about a relationship. If it means social media, you feel like you want to regroup, rebrand, whatever the case might be, guys. I might not have it all up in my head, but all I'm saying is take these points that I've shared with you, introspect, look at your life and say, you know what is it that I can do so that I can see different results? You know what they say, you cannot do the same thing over and over again and expect to see different results. So yes, this is what I'm coming out here to say to you. If you are doing the same thing over and over again, if you are waking up every day, going to a job that you do not like, maybe you're even being underpaid, and you keep on going there over and over again and you are not happy, and maybe you are probably one of those people who are like me, who are like, I want to build generational wealth, but right now I cannot with the kind of money that I'm getting, then I think it's high time you go back to the drawing board and say, okay, what else can I bring in? What else can I do right now? Do I need to change my career path? Do I need to do an extra side hustle on a side, maybe that can potentially become a main hustle? Like, just go and introspect into your life and see what it is that you need to do a change on, so that you can 5 years from now, 10 years from now, see a difference. You know what they say, it takes 10 years to build an empire. The reason why I am so intentional with my YouTube channel, and the reason why I'll never give up on this channel, even if I'm not seeing numbers that make me happy, is because I know that success is not built overnight. I know that it takes approximately, they say it takes approximately 10 years to build an empire. Best believe right now I'm not so happy with the numbers, but if I continue 10 years from now, I don't know where I could be. But if I quit right now, then, and there's a difference between actually quitting and like starting over, you know. So I'm not telling you to quit on anything here. I'm saying if something that you've been doing and you are not seeing the result and it's not working, start over. Do not be afraid to start over. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning into today's video. Well, this video has gone longer than I thought. I thought it was just going to be a 4-minute video of a little bit of motivation, but the more I went in and dig deep into this topic, I realized that I have so much in me that I wanted to share with you guys, and some of it that God has led me to share with you guys. So I'm so happy and excited that whoever's gonna watch this video, you find something very informative from it. And yes, guys, if you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to leave a comment down below. Don't forget to give this video a huge thumbs up. And don't forget to check me out on my other social media platforms, and not just check me out, but follow me on TikTok, follow me on Instagram. I'm here to inspire and to be inspired by you guys, and I love you guys so much, and I will definitely see you in the next video.